So given the recent links of Spider-Man PS4 on Reddit, I think I know what they have planned going into the future. It's absolutely exciting, but it's also frightening and concerning. And I'm going to tell you why. Oh my goodness. So if you haven't heard by now, there was a post on Reddit in regards to the Spider-Man PS4, another leak thread. Same person who did the other linking on information of the game. In this leak, however, he goes a little bit more in depth on what's going on in the game. He talks about, you know, getting information from Gwen Stacy, getting information from Eddie Brock, in regards to the villains, getting information from Harry Osborn in regards to what's going on with you know, the Osborn Company and all of that, and how they're really stressing, as they said in, you know, the developer interview, this duality of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Here's what I think is happening. Here's what I think is happening. Just thinking about, you know, how they're gonna do all that and whatnot, yada yada. So you know how the Telltale games are broken up into episodes? That's how I feel they're gonna be approaching the Spider-Man games, because you have to remember, they're going for the bigger picture, the Spider-Man universe. So when Iron Man started, I'm sure they already had, you know, the Avengers and all of that, and how everything's gonna be set off. So how I see this being portrayed in the game is that you may get hints and certain winks and nods about certain villains that you won't actually fight in this game, but in the next installment of the game. So you know how we're going to be getting information from all these different characters. One such person, Eddie Brock, and, you know, the various crime lords and kingpins are happening in the districts. So you won't, how I see it is, you won't be fighting, of course, Venom in this game, but you may be fighting him 2 or 3 or 4 installments later, where he is the main villain. So all of these installments leading up to that main game are going to be exposing, unraveling his storyline. And which, I don't know how long this trilogy or how long they plan on having this, but that's how I see them developing their Marvel universe. If they pull this off, this is gonna be some pretty amazing stuff. So how I see it is gonna be like a continuation, like a to be continued type of thing going on here, in which they have this giant narrative, which of course leads into something greater, something bigger. Now, the only caveat I have to that is what they did, for example, with, you know, Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they tease Rhino and all of this. You get little baby fights of Rhino, and then the final, you know, final scene, you're like, whoa, we're about to see an amazing villain fight, and they cut the movie. So that's another problem that I could be seeing being exploited, essentially, where, you know, they eventually tease this character, tease, and, you know, we never see him, or you have to, you know, wait till, you know, game number 5 in the trilogy to play him or to fight him, as they've done with DLC, as they've done with, you know, pay to play and all this other crap that's, you know, emerged in the gaming industry. I can't even remember the Arkham series, but I believe there's always a wrap up at the end, you know, where you can always get the Joker in prison, you get the Riddler, you get this, you get that, you get there's a resolution to everything at the end of the game, right? To all of these characters, because they cram in so many villains in the games, and there's a resolution to all of them. And, you know, the second one, there's a resolution to all of them. The third one, there's a resolution to all of them. So the main differentiation between that, the Arkham series, and this series, what I'm assuming, what I'm speculating, is that there won't be a resolution to all the characters. That, you know, the main villain that they're portraying, there'll be a resolution to that character, but there'll be different threads, different subplots that will go unsolved for that game, which would then lead to the next game, which that story would then lead to this game and to the next game, which you have this giant narrative, kind of like with Mass Effect, I believe. Mass Effect having, you know, what happens to Shepard here, this, and this, you know, 3 games or whatnot. But with the Marvel Universe, I mean, it could potentially be unlimited, be like a comic book series, you know, different comics telling this one narrative. Now, one of the other concerns I had with the leak was how they're saying, you know, we're going to be getting information about what's going on with the city, through Gwen, through Eddie Brock, through this person, that person. I'm curious as to how we're doing that. Like, are we going into their place and finding clues like Arkham Knight? Are we questioning them, kind of like they did in Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I absolutely hated. It was first off, it was pointless, and secondly, it just dragged down the game. You know, and the game was dragged down. The game was garbage to begin with, and it just made it worse. It was like, get me through this, XXY. So, you know, that's absolutely something new, and I'm curious to see how they go about it. Because if they do the whole Mass Effect thing, I don't know. I mean, that could also play into how the story, you know, like I said, the long narrative, how, you know, your game number 2 responds to you based off of how you played in game number 1. That would be absolutely interesting to see how that works out, because they're absolutely stressing this whole duality with Peter Parker. So I'm guessing, you know, what would be cool would be to walk down the streets as Peter Parker, spider sense go off, a robbery or something like that, and you quick change in your spider suit and you stop the robbery. The only problem with that is, what are you going to be doing as Peter Parker? I don't know. There's, in, you know, the Arkham Knight series, there's not a lot of Bruce Wayne in the game. It's Batman for a reason. So I'm not sure how they're going to go about this duality. Unless, like I said, they have the Mass Effect, which they tried to do in, you know, Amazing Spider-Man 2. They horribly implemented it, but if done correctly, and it actually the decisions you make actually change and warp the narrative, and that falls into the next installment, that would be awesome. That would be kind of cool. But anyways, guys, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. A lot of questions. No answers, though. Hopefully we'll find what's going on during this E3. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you're even excited anymore for Spider-Man PS4, or whether or not, you know, you're just going to hold it out until E3, until we get some more information, and then make your decision. Either or, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing. Get me through this, XXY.